Hi there, this is Stylish, and this time I'm going to show you how to execute the Terran vs Zerg 9minPush build order. This is a very good build order and it works perfectly versus the standard Zerg that is 3 hatchery and pretty fast take to hive. It's very standard these days, so I use this strategy as my main strategy, and I think that you should try to practice this as well and use this as your main strategy because it has worked very well for me. I'm going to walk you through the build order and also walk you through what's important to think about to be able to execute the build order as easy as possible, because this build order isn't actually that hard to execute and it's very good. So that's very good if you know what I mean. I'm trying to avoid all kinds of spam here in the beginning or in the late game just to make it easier to see clearly what I am doing. First of all, I'm starting with the 9 supply. You take the SCV that pops out when you have 9 of 10 and make a supply with him. Then, when you have placed the supply, you shift click and move to the location where you want to make a barrack. Because when he is finished with that supply, you want to make a barrack at 11 supply. And usually I take the SCV that just made the supply depot to make the barrack. And that way he will arrive at the spot at a decent timing. Now after you've placed the barrack, I just shift click the SCV back to the minerals, so he will automatically start mining. And then right before my 12th SCV, or I think it's the 11th SCV, but right before it says 12 of 18 out up in the right corner there, I take one SCV and I start scouting. Now in this build order VOD I will not scout to the different locations. I will just show you that he is now out of your base and you should be microing him as well as you can, but still controlling your main. So when you have 13 of 18 you can actually queue up 4 SCVs in the command center, and 14 of 18 you can queue up 3 SCVs in the command center, and you will still be able to build the buildings you will eventually build. At 15 of 18, when the SCV pops out, you take that SCV directly and make a supply depot. And when the barrack is finished, you make a marine, the first thing you do. Now, when you have almost 300 minerals, let's say 250 minerals, or slightly above that, the first marine will almost be finished. Then you take one SCV from your main and drag him to your expansion, and he will arrive there at a timing so you can place your command center pretty fast. Now what you want to think about is to add a marine as soon as possible when you've placed that command center, and then an SCV, in that order. Now you want to queue 2 SCVs and 2 marines. And with the first SCV that pops out, you're going to take him to a location and build a supply depot. And after he has built that supply depot, this SCV will actually be the foundation of this whole build order. He will go and build the barrack and then go and build the eBay and then the rest of the tech buildings. After you've placed that supply depot, you queue up 2 SCVs and 2 marines again, and with the first SCV that pops out, you take him and build a refinery. And then you do the same thing again, you queue up 2 SCVs and 2 marines. Now the supply depot will finish, and you take that SCV and make a barrack. This time the distance was pretty far, so I actually took another SCV, but the timing would be the same. Now when the refinery is finished, it means that you shall take 7 SCV and bring them to your expansion, and then they will arrive there at the perfect timing for your command center to be finished. Now you queue up again 2 SCVs in the main, 2 marines in the barrack, and 1 SCV in the expansion. And you take the first SCV, it will be on 32 or 33, and you take him in the main and build an academy. And then usually I shift click him to make a supply depot after that. Then just keep making SCVs and marines. When your second barrack is finished, you take that SCV and position him to build an eBay. But right before you build the eBay on 37 or 38, you place a supply depot. Then you can skip 1 round of marines or 1 SCV round to be able to place the eBay as fast as possible, and then as fast as possible start making SCVs or Marines again. When the SCV that has made the academy is finished with the academy, you immediately start upgrading Steam Pack and at the same time add another supply depot. Now you also build 2 medics. When the eBay is finished, you should upgrade attack mode. Attack +1, and take that SCV that made the eBay and place a factory. Now you can skip 1 round of medics for a little while and then add them as soon as possible when you can again. Now when you've started making your factory, you should place your comsat stations. It's pretty risky to make 1 more round of SCV, but it's actually possible. But just in this case I did the safe build and I add the comsat stations right after I have made the factory. After you make the comsat, you make another supply depot and a refinery in the expansion. That is after you have started your factory. Just keep making SCVs and Marines at all time. And with that SCV now making supply depots, that's what he will do. He will make the supply depot at all time now, and the other SCV making the factory will make the tech buildings at all time. Now when the factory is finished, you should place your starport. Remember to keep making SCVs at all time and Marines at all time once you had 4 medics. When you've scanned, you can wait a couple of seconds and then you should place your turrets. Usually I place them on 3 locations like this, to cover my main, my expansion, and my macro mode area. Now I take about 7, 8 or 9 SCVs and 2 medics of my initial group there and move it towards the single turret here I have at my macro area. Then when you have about 70 supply, you can start making supplies again. When the factory is finished and you've started making your starport, you should add the machine shop as soon as possible. Now when the starport is finished, make the science facility and an eBay at the same time. After you started making your science facility, you should add the control tower on the starport. When the first tank is finished, make another one. Keep making supply depots at all time with that SCV. When you have almost 80 supply, you can take another SCV and start making 2 supply depots at the same time with those 2 SCVs all the time. When the science facility is finished, you should add a science vessel as soon as possible and upgrade armor with the second eBay, and then weapon when the weapon is finished in the first eBay, and that will happen very soon. Also add a 3rd tank when the second tank is completed. After you've started upgrading armor and attack in the eBays, you should add 1 more barrack, and then 1 more, and then 1 more. You could add all 3 barracks at the same time, but it's more effective if you add them 1 by 1 as soon as you can afford them, but still keep making Marines at all times. Right before, or exactly right after I have started upgrading attack and armor in my eBays, I stop SCV production. Right before the vessel is finished, you should start making a dropship, and then you should scan your opponent's lair and see if he has teched to hive. If he has started taking to hive, now is the time you should move out. Remember to make supplies at all time now with 2 SCVs, and move out like this. Right before you move out, you should start making siege mode. Then you will arrive at your opponent's base and get siege mode. When the dropship is finished, you should have 7 Marines and 1 medic ready to upload in the dropship. In this build order VOD, I get to the opponent's base before I get siege mode, but that's just because I meet nothing in the way, no lurkers or anything like that. But in a real game, you will be slightly delayed. Now when you have uploaded things in your dropship, you should add a 6th barrack, and then soon afterwards you can add a 2nd starport. Now is also the time when you should start upgrading Irradiate. When the dropship arrives at your main army, you can have 100 energy with the vessel, and you should dematrix the dropship. Drop in his main at the same time as you push at his natural. This will cause much trouble for the Zerg player. Now this is the 9-minute push build order. It's a very good and very standard build order, used for example by Flash versus GG Play on Athena pretty recently. I hope you've learned a lot about this video, and I'm gonna make another video now, so good luck and have fun and practice this. After the irradiate is finished, you should upgrade energy as well. I forgot to say that. Then just keep macron and have some fun.